Hello everybody. I would like to start by telling you a little about myself. My name is Mallén and I have been working at CELE UNAM for almost 24 years now, a very long time. I collaborate with very different departments, for example the English department, the teachers training course, a lab, and also with the exams coordination and with the applied linguistics department. This means that I am involved in very different activities, for example, teaching English, online and on-site training courses, designing and applying certification exams, and also doing research, especially in the areas of language and culture and of evaluation. However, from all these very different activities, what I like the most is teaching, because I really like to be in contact with students, to learn from them, and I still find challenging to prepare classes that are really motivating and interesting for them. But what are my students like? Well, I usually teach in upper intermediate levels. That corresponds to more or less to a 5th or a 6th level of English at CELE, and most of my groups have around 30 students who are between 18 and 25 years old. Even though most of them study the language because they know that it is going to help them, for example, to get a better job or maybe to get a scholarship, I think I can also say that they are highly motivated, since they like to listen to a lot of music in English and they check a lot of information on internet also, so they are really interested in learning the language. And one of the things that I really like about groups at CELE is their diversity, because we have students who are in very different majors and they also have very different backgrounds, so that enriches our classes very much. And well, for example, students, their needs, their realities have changed a lot during the last 20 years, so we cannot continue to teach them as we used to do. Nowadays, with new technologies, students are used to communicating with people in different countries, and some of them do it regularly. So nowadays they have to do many more things with a foreign language, and it's not enough for them to know about the language. They also have to do things with it. So all this leads us to our definition of tasks. In my opinion, I think I can say that a task is an activity in which participants use the language in a meaningful, creative and authentic way in order to achieve a goal. And this goal can be considered the outcome. Even though it involves language, obviously, but it can also include some other things, as for example, drawing, acting, or creating something. I had already worked with some tasks, and I had a lot of experience teaching, but 2 years ago I realized that if I could do it more consistently, probably I could improve my language teaching and also involve my students more in their learning process. That's why in the year 2008 I decided to do something that really changed my perspective on teaching. I decided to take the task-based language teaching module in a lab, which is Diplomado de Actualización de Lingüística Aplicada Distancia, and it was a very interesting experience for me because it changed my perspective on what a language class is. After working with a PPP approach for many years, using the task-based language teaching was like kind of seeing the language class upside down. But I was ready for a change and I was really to try it. So I decided to embark on the adventure of creating tasks, piloting them with my students, and trying to improve them from one semester to the next. Now I would like to give you an idea or an example of one of the tasks that I have used with my students in 6th level, and my students and I have enjoyed it a lot. It is focused on commencement speeches, which are speeches given by keynoted speakers. For example, they can be writers, politicians, actors, actresses, entrepreneurs, who address a graduating class in a special ceremony. You can find a lot of these motivational speeches on YouTube, and I thought that it would be an interesting material because probably students can find some more information and more personal information about somebody they already know a little about and who they might admire. So the task was to look for a speech they are interested in, to look for it in YouTube, then to watch it carefully, and afterwards they have to write like a short document in which they include a summary of the speech. They also have to write about their opinion, and well, they have to write about something that they learned by doing this activity. And then once they have done this, they have to upload the link, the video, to a virtual class that we have on NiceNet, which is an internet-based classroom assistant, and they also have to upload their document there. So everybody in the classroom has access to the different videos and also to the different documents that each of the students wrote. And in general, students like this activity very much, and they find it interesting. I don't know if this is a task in itself, but it does have a lot of the characteristics of the task. For example, students can choose something that they find interesting from a variety of links and of videos. They work on something that they find meaningful, and also they create an authentic document in which they share something that they knew and also their opinion about it. So I can say that this is kind of a mini task, a small task, which leads to a bigger task, which I will now explain. For this bigger task, students have to work in groups of about 4 or 6 people, and they have to create like a TV program, which they will later present to the rest of the class. For this TV program, they have to invent the news items which are supposed to have happened at CELE. They have to make them up, to invent them. And they have to include several things. For example, a mystery, an interview with a celebrity, an ad, and they also have to act out a commencement speech. In order to do so, when they present their TV program, they can use some visual supports, for example, as slides or drawings or videos, in order to make it more appealing. They can also make believe that they are a celebrity who is being interviewed, or that they are somebody famous who is addressing a speech to the students who are about to finish their language courses at CELE. I have carried out this task with 2 different groups, and I think that it has been very successful, because I have noticed that students use the language more fluently, more freely, and more creatively. And another thing that I have noticed is that they interact in a different way. Since they have to prepare the program together, they have to do it outside class, and then presenting them also in groups encourages the students to present it to the rest of their classmates. Once that they have already done this, we have even made some copies. We have recorded the programs and made a DVD with them, so they can take it home as a souvenir of all the TV programs, and also of their participation in this activity. I would invite you to take a look at the outcome section, where you can find an example of one of these commencement speeches. in which one of my students pretends to be Hillary Clinton, addressing a commencement speech to the students who are about to finish their language courses. Also, you can check the comment section, and there you will find some information or some opinions that the students gave on this activity. And well, I think that many times when we have been teaching for a long time, we need something to kind of renew our teaching. We need to stop doing the same things that we do all the time and that we know that they work, and we need to take risks and to try something new in order to keep that elements of being spontaneous that the language class requires. For example, it was very surprising for me to see that in this activity of tasks, in the commencement speech, the students reflected a lot on their experience of learning the foreign language and all the richness that it entails. Several of them referred to different experiences that they have had and how they value them. And even if they hadn't left CELE yet and they hadn't finished their courses, it was like they were nostalgic about it. So that was something that really surprised me, and it was very moving to see all the comments that they made about this topic. And another thing that also called my attention is that, for example, some students who are usually like some students who don't participate very much in class really become alive in this activity, and you can see that they are actually very good speakers and very good actors. So in general, I think that I can say that it has been a really rewarding experience to work with tasks, since, for example, for students, they can learn in a more authentic, in a more meaningful and more enjoyable way. And for the teachers, it is also a way of knowing the students better, knowing who they are, and also knowing what they can do in the foreign language. And well, even though most of the comments the students made were positive, they did mention one disadvantage, that is the preparation time, because in order to present the TV program, they have to work together in groups outside class, and many times it is difficult for them to get together and to have the time to prepare it. But in general, I think that it is a very good experience, and I really encourage you to try it out, because it is really worth it. Thank you very much.